This is episode 54, and I want to talk about, do you want to go pro? Stay tuned. Welcome to Freya Singing Tips, the podcast. My name is Freya Casey, professional singer and vocal coach. I have been on stage my whole life, and I'm passionate about helping you discover the awesomeness in your own voice. Opera, musical theater, jazz, pop, folk, rock, I have done it all. And I want to give you golden nuggets of advice on how to be the master of your voice. Do you wanna go pro? Do you wanna get pro? Do you want to become a pro singer? Are you thinking about it? Or is that your greatest dream? I want to talk about it today. What does it mean to get pro and to become a professional singer? Is it the life that you thought, or is it possible even? Now, if you have been thinking about making money with your voice, with singing, there's good chances that you can, because there is so much you can do. There's not just that singer that is world famous, that is on stage every week, who does tours internationally all the time, who has best-selling albums and platinum records hanging on their walls. There's also many, many musicians in this world who just do their craft and who make a pretty good living off it. I guess I'm one of them. It's just, for me, it's an art, it's a craft, and much like any other artist in the world, whether it's an actor, I mean, you don't only have actors who are in Hollywood movies, you have the actors that are in theaters all around the world. And those actors make an honest and good living. If that is your dream, to really utilize your voice and to really do that full time, or maybe even just part time as a side job, I think it's totally possible. I think there are a few ways that you can make it easier. And nowadays, in today's world, there are so many opportunities and so many ways to do it. Now, of course, I think the internet nowadays is the best way to market yourself. And you will need a website or some kind of a site where people can hear and see you. If you want to advertise for yourself, that is the most important thing, because nobody wants to hire anyone whom they have not seen and heard. Now, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it was a little bit different. It was pretty much a lot of word of mouth. You could call up venues or call up conductors or write to them, or go to a concert and do networking. But nowadays, things have become so much easier just because the internet. And there's a really great tool called Google Places, and that's where I would start. You can register there. You can tell Google what it is that you're doing, what your business is, and where you're located. It is a free service, and that's the awesome thing. It's free advertisement for you. And you can just advertise yourself as a singer, whether you're a wedding singer or a singer-songwriter, someone who does small events, or someone who wants to sing at bars or restaurants or hotels. You can advertise yourself, and the cool thing is people who are near you, who live in your area, who are searching for someone like that, if they type in singer, most likely it will be shown by Google if they're close to you. Like on the right-hand side, there's usually this area where you find this map with push pins. It'll show you those businesses that are close to you that have that keyword, like singer. Like for me, if you live in my area here in Germany and you type in singer or wedding singer, you will find me. It'll show people that I'm here, that I'm available, and that it will lead them to my website. It will show the phone number so they can call me. So that is a really great way. Also, if you do have a website, which you should, you can just very easily make one. It's very inexpensive these days. Just make a very basic website, and I would recommend tying some YouTube videos into that, because people seeing you, that is so valuable. You want to build a relationship. I think just hearing is fine, but seeing it in a video is so much better, because it also shows much more your personality and that you were actually doing it live. It looks like you're doing it live, even if you do a pre-recording and then you do the video after you did the recording, lip sync with it. But still, it will show your personality, and you want to show your personality because people hire singers because they like it and it's, their taste. Somebody may like one singer and another person may not like them. It's very much a matter of taste, and you want to make sure they see you as who you are. So how do you prepare for your first gig, or how do you actually prepare for gigging? I think you should start some small gigs to get experience, because you will get nervous and there will be stuff that goes wrong. Things happen all the time that are unexpected. So I would start with some really small gigs. They may not even be paid in the beginning. And that's great, because you do need to gain some experience. Now, if you have experience playing with a band or singing with a band, if you have experience as a soloist, it's still a different story to do your own gig to where you get paid. And when you do get paid, there's a whole different, you need to get into this mindset of, I need to deliver my best to these people, and I'm going to kill myself over it. I just want to give my best, which doesn't mean you go crazy over your vocal technique. That's not the point, but you really need to serve people, and you don't need to be a diva. You need to serve people. And I think that's really important, to come with the heart of a servant whenever you are at your gig. You want to make that event that people are hiring you for very unforgettable. And you want to make the whole experience unforgettable, not just the moment where you're on stage, but you as a person. You want to be unforgettable in a very positive, personal way. You don't want to appear and be a diva. Nobody wants that. They're not going to hire you again. But I think by being very honest, open, down to earth, and very real, that's how you're going to start building relationships. And then if your singing is also great, which of course that's a prerequisite, if everything is just wonderful about you and it's very easy to work with you, people will start recommending you, and people will start, calling you again and saying, well, this worked out so great. We would like you to come back. This happens to me all the time. And nowadays, I don't really even have to advertise anymore, because I get so many requests just by people who have told someone about me, or by people who have seen or heard me somewhere. And they're just like, oh, we wanted to ask you. And I give out my business cards all the time. People usually after a gig come to me like, whoa, can we get your card? And then the ball gets rolling, and it's a snowball effect. You gotta start very small, but it gets easier and easier because people get to know you. And if the experience is really awesome, you're letting your personality shine and your voice is great, then stuff will start happening and it will become so much easier. But it may take a while. But I think nowadays, in the age of internet, it is so much easier to be heard and seen and to have some kind of an authority. I think if you have some videos on YouTube that have some views on that, it shows people that you're not a nobody, but people actually watch you or listen to you and you are somebody. This is what happened to me. People see what I do on the internet and they're like, whoa, okay, she has a lot of credibility because she seems to know so much and she does all that. And, she has all these people following her. And she has this expertise, obviously, that is just not baloney. It's real, and she knows what she's doing. So that has really helped me over the years to really, gain some more credibility. If people don't know me yet, then of course after performed, I've totally convinced them, and that's what you want to happen. You want to convince people. It is hard to get the gig in the beginning, but you may even want to start out with some free gigs, and there's tons of possibilities. Now, one thing that I think is a really awesome thing to do is to do like a nonprofit thing to where you do a benefit. It's great. Do something for a great cause that is a nonprofit. Do a concert, and then, all the proceeds, all the tickets will go to that cause. Now that shows that you care as a person, but it will also give you the opportunity to be exposed to people who also care See what I mean? You want to be hired by people who care. I've been hired by people before who were hard to work with. I mean, by some agencies. Most people have always been nice, but there was this one agency actually recently. I was hired there last year. And actually back then I already thought, I do not want to work with them again. The gig went fine. Everything was great. I was hired for this huge event in this big mall. And I was supposed to do, piano and voice and sing all day. Always sing a half an hour and take a half-hour break and do this over the course of the day and take turns with the band that also played there. And the gig was fine. Everything was cool. And the people loved it. The people who went shopping, they all came up to me and everything was fine. But those people of the agency, they were not nice people. They were hard to deal with. It was just hard to deal with them. They were so overly perfectionistic, which was totally unnecessary because everything went fine. But they were going crazy over small stuff that didn't matter. Oh, your purse is there. You shouldn't put your purse there by your side. And they went crazy over stuff like that. But in a tone that you could say stuff like that and you could talk about it. But it's the way you say it. They were so bossy and they didn't appreciate anybody who worked for them. I didn't appreciate that very much. And so I actually back then I said oh my goodness, I do not want to work with them again. I don't even care about that gig. It's good money, but no, I'd rather not do it. And then they called me again this year. And I already thought, I already have a stomach ache because of that. I don't have a good feeling about it. I actually don't want to do it. But I thought, well, I could really use that money because it was really good money. And they actually hired me. They said, okay, we want to hire you again. And they sent me a contract. And I emailed her back saying, I'm very busy right now. I'm not home. I'm traveling. I will send back the contract. How many? 2 or 3 days? Well, and then on the second day, she emailed me. It's well, you didn't send back the contract. Thank you very much. We don't need you anymore. What is that? I mean, I have worked with huge agencies from all around the world, big venues, but that was kind of you can call, you can ask. What is that? So for me, that was a sign. It's yeah, that's the type of people I do not want to work with because they don't appreciate anybody. And so that was okay, I just let it go. And actually the same day something else opened up, and that's really interesting because it was another big gig for a shopping center that is actually the biggest shopping center in the country. Here in Germany, it's called Centro. That same day, they hired me for that. It was a different agency, and they seemed like they really appreciate people. They appreciate artists, and it's been great to work with them. So sometimes, you want to work with people who appreciate you, who value what you do. And being an artist, you want to be valued because you put a lot of heart and soul into what you do. And you don't want anybody just seeing you as this thing that works. You want to deliver. You want to be also a business person. And that's where I think it's really good to get some business training because a lot of artists, they may know their art, but it is also a business because your art isn't really going to bring you very far if you do not know how to sell yourself and how to make a business and how to deal with others, how to get hired and how to get rehired. That is very important. So you should learn about business. There are great business books and podcasts out there. There are some great podcasts about being a musician in the business. There's one podcast called Female Entrepreneur Musician. It may just be targeted at females, but I think it's also great for guys to listen to that because you can learn a lot about the music business. There's another one called The Startup Musician. That's a great podcast. That's a great resource if you are starting up and if you want to get inspired and great inspiring stories from other musicians, not just singers, but other musicians who have been in the business. That is really awesome. Another one is called Music Business Radio. Well, there's usually big music business guys on there, but it's very interesting and you can learn so much from it. I really recommend it. The main point is keep on learning and always keep on educating yourself. Don't just think of yourself as just a singer, but think of yourself as a business person also. If you want to make music your business, you have to really have a business mindset. The thing is, if you do want to become a pro, you may have to start very slowly, but it is so possible. It's absolutely possible. There are so many things you can do. You can do small things and work yourself up to big things. You can just audition. Just go to tons of auditions. You will learn so much by just doing auditions. And whether you're a freelancing artist or you actually want to be employed by a theater, musical theater singer or something like that, that is up to you, but it's all possible. But just know that out of 100 people, only one may like you. And there are a lot of singers out there who want to do that. Persistence is key. Don't give up. And if you know any of the stories of any successful singers out there, they were never successful right from the beginning. They had a lot of obstacles to get over and a lot of adversity. So people did not like them in the beginning. People didn't want them. The Beatles, one very famous story of being turned down and nobody wanted them. And then they became the biggest act ever in history. So don't let yourself be discouraged by being told we don't want you. That doesn't mean you're bad. That doesn't mean you're not good enough. You just have to persist. And that is so important in this business. Keep persisting. Stay true to yourself and keep the vision. Very important. So if you want to stay motivated, listen to podcasts, read books about music business. There are some great books out there, even as audiobooks. I always go to Audible and download audiobooks. It's awesome. And connect with other musicians, connect with other singers. One great way is my Facebook group. It's called Master Your Voice. If you are not in there, you should get in there because there are people from all levels. There are also professional singers in there. There are hobby singers, professional singers, instrumentalists, also singers who also play instruments. And it's a great place to get inspired, to get ideas. I always love just connecting with others to get ideas because it gets my creative juices flowing. And it's very important that you keep that going. Well, that's it for today. I really appreciate you listening today, especially if you are really serious about singing, which you are if you have listened so far. And I would love to see you again. And what I would really love is for you to leave a review on iTunes. It will really help the podcast to be seen by more people. And I really want to help more people all over the world to become the best singer they possibly can. And of course, to turn your art into success. Because, your art in itself, it's really beautiful, but you want to be heard. You want to be successful by being heard. That's what I define success. Otherwise, who are you doing it for? Yes, also for yourself, but you want the world to hear you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for hanging out. And until next time, don't forget, always keep a song in your heart and always keep on singing. Bye now.